Learning quickly that to travel the world of the Sengoku Jidai was to invite death upon those not strong enough to fight back, Nariko was gathering a band of vigilantes to train under Master Uchihe. To all these volunteers, she stated that her goal was to punish the outlaws who the samurai were too busy to notice, a cause that touched the lives of many of the common people. Her desire to uncover the location of the imperial treasure the bandits had stolen from her father, her real goal, remained known only to her. But that was soon to change upon a chance meeting while passing through Kagoshima, a meeting that would shape so much of all that was to come. Hey you! How much for your sword? I can get you 1,000 mon for it by tomorrow if you like. It's not for sale, and it's worth twice that much. Wow, must be a more fancy sword than I'm used to then. Most likely. What do you know of swords anyway? Used a few over the years, and I wondered if you'd sell me yours since, well, the local weapons guilds have locked me out thanks to this little misunderstanding with the horse stealer. Must be quite the misunderstanding to make them want to lose a customer. You think weapons shops need more customers? Quite the opposite. It was nothing. I was just looking for something and they thought I was trying to steal one of their mares. What were you looking for? Well, I'm in a little debt with the grumpy innkeep over there and he was... Oh, it doesn't matter. Nothing I need to blurt out at you. But seriously, that's a nice sword. At least tell me where you got it. Intrigued by the rare confidence of this woman, Nariko sat a while with her at the inn and retold her story. Mary seemed strangely unimpressed, until finally... Well, you ain't the first. But I don't get it. Why were bandits at your old man's place anyway? Treasure. Now that's a little more interesting. I can't tell you about it, sorry. Wow, alright, now I have to know. Innkeep, how about a few more over here? I already told you the money is going to be here tomorrow. You'll regret not selling out tonight once you see how much there is. Not the first time Mary had relied on her wits to get her way, she eventually managed to get Nariko to explain the whole truth, with Nariko consoling herself that to get the matter off her chest would make it feel less personal, and might even bring up some interesting leads. This is crazy. You can't just go around killing bandits even if they've got the Emperor himself tucked away. Why not? Whatever our reasons, we're doing the world a favour. Probably. And this Uchihe guy, Master Uchihe, yeah, that guy. He sounds like a great teacher. You're heading out to meet with him? That's right. The volunteers need to get familiar with sparring. Heading out in the morning, I guess. What, you want to borrow my sword until then or something? Oh, no, it's just... Well, there's a few deals I've made that might, fall through a little tomorrow. So I'm thinking if I was to, say, volunteer for your patrols, I'd be doing the world a favour, as you said. And doing myself a favour by letting Kagoshima cool down a bit, right? If you want to fight, then that's all I need to know. But please, you can't tell anyone about... Yeah, I won't blab. Although, I think the innkeep probably won't let me leave tonight until I pay out a little advance on the debts I'm totally going to settle tomorrow. You don't happen to have 100 mon on you? Cheap price for a worldly fighter who's great with secrets. Hello and welcome to Nariko's Treasure. After a stopover in Kagoshima, we've gained a new party member. It's Mari, a roguish traveller type, who we can now see what she's brought to the party. She has few pieces of equipment, but she does come with a horse. We can gift her a small sickle to fight with if we get into a scuffle. Curious that she starts with a horse, considering she seems so destitute, so how she acquired this horse is unclear, but perhaps it's best that we don't ask. Otherwise, she is equipped just like one of the villagers who I'm trying to train up in my force. We can see her stats here, and an important part of having party members in this game is that some skills, their party skills, contribute to the party as a whole. So in Mari's example, she brings wound treatment, pathfinding and spotting, great abilities that will improve our health restoration, ability to move across the map and ability to see distant parties. So with her now in the party, plus new villagers recruited from nearby Kagoshima, we head over to Master Ujie's training school, where we're now going to begin going through lots of sparring sessions with various members of our party in order to train them. You can see they all watch as we spar. I'm doing this first match against Mari in order to see how she does in combat, but she is nothing particularly special. Her stats are only average in terms of combat ability, so we're going to slice her down with our superior training, and all of our party members will gain experience from doing this. So over time, all I have to do now is keep training and make sure all of my party members get enough experience to at least go up from the basic level of experience, which is villager, so that they get basic equipment and soldiering skills. So now a little later, as I was doing the sparring and gaining that experience that I need to level up, I came across a little bit of a hitch that I wasn't really paying attention to. I'm actually out of money. I need to pay to give my party members the equipment and training they need, but I've actually run out, and now I can't even pay my party if they demand their wages for the end of the week in any time in the near future. So what I need to do is rush back west towards Kagoshima. We need to hope that we can go there and make some money working shifts for the guilds before they come and ask for their week's wages, and luckily for me, I was successful in doing this. So the guild master will give us more money than he had done previously because we're coming with a larger party. Everybody works, so we're able to get like 20 mon per shift, which is much more than the 8 we were getting before. So soon enough, I built up a reserve of money, gone back to the school, trained a little more, and now we have no one only at the villager level left in our party, which puts us at a decent advantage above many of the low-level enemy parties we'll come across at the beginning of the game. So with this party now prepared, we're ready to start our investigation once again. I stopped off at Kagoshima to get some more money, and now we're going to head north. I was just checking my supplies. I realised we only have a couple of weeks worth of food, but it's very likely that we'll be back before the time runs out on that. So I decided to check the islands to the west of Kyushu here, since we bypassed them last time I went looking for the pirates, to see if they were around here. Nothing so far. The islands were just deserted of everything. I noticed that to the north, several villages had been looted, so it seems that there's some military conflicts going on in the area, and we discover a pirate hideout. Now that's great. That's stage 1 of the plan. Now we know where one of their bases is. All we need to do is get to the point where we're strong enough to storm it. The base will be full of pirates, so we need to be confident in our combat abilities. Obviously that might take a while, but Nariko has an idea that might bypass the large amount of work we'd need to do to overcome the pirates. We're going to go to a local clan lord representing the Rizoji clan, who might be able to help us take out the pirates if we report to him where they are. You don't look like a messenger. Are you one of those multi-purpose agents I heard Lord Rizoji has been hiring?
No, my lord. My name is Nariko. I lead a small company in search of pirates.
Well, that's great, but I was told someone had news of a military nature for me. Are you just here to tell me you found pirates in our lands?
Well, more than that, we found where they're storing their contraband and arms.
So it was just pirates. Look, young lady, if you think we don't know about every pirate around here, down to their family name, then you're quite mistaken. And to dare come here to state common knowledge as if it was a valuable use of my time is an insult that won't be easily forgotten. If it was a reward you wanted for this service you have provided, then clearly I need to have a word with my attendants, for you are exactly the sort of naive riffraff they are meant to keep out of clan business.
No, my lord,
You want to say something? Go on. I'll give you 1 sentence to redeem yourself.
I had planned to attack the pirates, and I thought
You wanted clan troops to help on your personal project. Look, little miss, killing pirates isn't the pastime of some bored housewife. I don't know what you think you're doing, but right now you are just furthering your insults to the clan by presuming we would either want or need your help to deal with pirates. Pirates will be dealt with as soon as the circumstances permit. If you choose to take matters into your own hands before that time, then be my guest. Considering the mouth on you, I'd bet your husband would be happy to hear you died in vain. Now get out!
I'm going. Sorry, my lord.
With hopes of official help of taking out the pirates now looking pretty slim, Nariko and her band simply need to find the strength themselves to get to a point where the pirates aren't going to be a threat to them and they can make sure their successful attack on the pirate hideout comes through. Nearby there was a band of 12 pirates just outside Nagasaki, and so we're going to go and essentially hunt these guys almost as practice, as if it's for sport, coming at them with a larger band, hoping that this first engagement will prove the mettle of our troops and get them used to what's surely going to be quite a long campaign against the well-armed pirates of the area. So we're going to form up on this small hill here, dividing up the archers and infantry into separate lines to make it easier to organise. The enemy are coming from a distant point, some of our gunners already starting to fire at them with no hope of hitting, and Mary joining the infantry on the battlefield as a mounted unit. It is possible to switch Mary over to be a separate cavalry battalion and act on her own, but right now we'll leave her guarding the infantry. As the enemy approached, I charged forward with Nariko in a quite brazen move, both to disrupt the enemy's advance and to find the troops that I suspected were hiding back here on the rear side of the hill, and indeed they were. Isolated, they were easy to attack from horseback, just riding past and slashing at them. But now, as I come back up the hill to return to the battle, distracting a few enemy troops on the way, things are looking a little bit dangerous for Mary as she engages backwards on horseback with an enemy who knocks her off. The line though standing strong, I'm just about able to prevent more enemy units from disrupting our position, and we quickly reform, with the pirates who were attacking now turning and starting to run, but there's no hope of running from someone on horseback. We can simply cut them down in cold blood. So now, with just a few pirates left, I order everyone to just hunt down any enemies they can find. I charge forward to stop that gunner from firing. A second gunner emerges from behind this tree, but he's too close to our lines. He draws his sword to fight in the end, but it's too late. He's overwhelmed by our superior numbers. So, that little skirmish ended in a victory. Unfortunately for Marie though, she learned a lesson the hard way, that fighting isn't all that easy, especially when the enemy have big long weapons and you're on a horse armed only with a sickle. We get a little bit of loot from the encounter. Some of the loot, actually looking at it, is slightly better than the equipment I have now, so I'm able to use some of this raggedy pirate equipment to improve my own situation, even equipping these hand wraps, which are actually pretty good for this early in the game. With that equipment now in my inventory, we also gained a bit of money, experience for every member of the party, and some of that experience allows them to level up. You can see Mary was wounded there, down to 10% health, so we can't use her party skills while she's in that state. So these training battles give you experience very quickly. This is a great way to gain superior troop quality for your party. So very soon I ended up in another engagement. This time it was just with a tiny group of 6 or 7 pirates, and all I needed to do was actually fire at them with my ranged infantry, because there weren't enough of them to really put a threat against our line. So we killed half of them before the battle even started, and then I rode forward to just distract these sword bearers so that the rest of my infantry can hunt down the others one by one. They were proving pretty good at actually stopping me from attacking them, but it's not going to help. You can see I've got plenty of numbers coming over the hill, so we'll now swarm these guys, keeping them distracted by just riding around. You can see they're looking at me and not looking at all the troops that are coming at them with spears. So very soon they go right down and another quick victory is won without any damage or losses to our own side. So this is exactly what we want to happen. And this time some of the equipment we salvage is actually pretty decent. We even managed to salvage a firearm, which is very nice. I can add that into my inventory. I also get an armoured helmet, which I'm not going to use myself. I am going to equip that firearm though. We don't have any ammunition, so I can't fire it, but later on I should be able to use that. And some of the new equipment I've got I can also give to Mary. Because she's a special party member, I'm responsible for giving her equipment, unlike the rest of the party, so she has to use things from my inventory. Now I decided to quickly go back to Nagasaki to visit the arms merchant, because I might be able to buy ammunition for this gun that I found, which will allow me to engage at range as well as charging in on horseback. So I'm going to buy these bent bullets. They're relatively cheap and I can slightly offset the price by trading in some of the rubbish I found dropped by the pirates, so that gives us a tiny advantage if we get into another scuffle. As I move out of Nagasaki though, a band of 22 pirates starts coming at me with a support band coming from behind, and that's a pretty risky engagement. We want to fight fights where we're not going to lose anyone. We want to build up our party. We can't put them in danger, so we need to escape from those pirates, and this is where having the abilities like pathfinding and spotting really come into their own, because we can dodge around those pirates by just moving faster than them as a party. So eventually we give them the slip and move north of the pirate hideout. I need to, as well as fighting the pirates, go to the villages to find new recruits so that I can expand the size of my party. So I start heading north, but on the way, and just as night falls, a pirate band appears out of nowhere and suddenly attacks us. I have the option of trying to pay them off, but my troops have high morale. We are going to try and fight them in a night battle. I tell my troops to form up on a small ridge just behind where we were ambushed, because that will give us a nice position both from which to fire at the enemy, and it forces the enemy to climb up that ridge to come at us. And here's that firearm we've got. Now we can give it a test fire. Nariko has pretty much no ability to use firearms, she has no aim, but we might be able to get a few shots in, and your aim improves with every hit you land, so over time we should get better. Hey look, the boss is trying out a new toy. You know how to use that thing, man? Well enough? Here, how about this? Oh, she thinks you can hit one from here, in the dark as well. No way! You got him! And it won't be the last. Listen everyone, these pirates think they've chanced upon another wandering band of refugees ripe for the picking. That is a mistake we're going to punish them dearly for. Stand your ground, spear straight, aim true, and we'll come away stronger than ever before. And with the riches of these pirates besides. As the enemy got close, I charged forward on horseback to try and disrupt their ranks. Now this is going from being brazen to being foolish perhaps. Riding out amongst the enemy might look really dangerous, but actually on horseback you're so difficult to hit that actually what Nariko's doing is one of the safest things you can do on the battlefield. To just ride around on horseback does mean you're basically invulnerable. The main position, which will be under missile fire and infantry charge, is a very dangerous place to be right now. So what we're doing is essentially leading some of the enemy who get distracted by me riding around to come away from the fight, and right now you can see I'm leading them uphill into a trap. I can fire back down at them, but it takes so long to reload that we only have time to do that once before we have to get out of there. So now I'm going to try and come back down to the battle, slashing wildly and missing with my sword on the way down. At the main fight there's now only half the enemy's usual strength fighting against my main position, so that's fantastic news. Some of these guys though have these Chinese polearms, deadly weapons that are especially effective against cavalry. Tried to run down that routing unit, but he took an arrow in the back of the head before I could get him. A kill steal, how dishonourable. But anyway, we now need to try and mop up the enemies down here before all the guys who I led up that hill come back down into the fight, which is just about happening now. So they're all still intent on chasing me, which is great, because I'm just riding around in circles, and all the while my archers and gunmen up on that ridge are able to just fire, and eventually they're going to do lots of damage to the enemy. Another deadly attack swinging in the offside direction there gets a nice kill on one of those enemies who failed to attack me with his weapon. There goes another one. A lot of them come in and try to swing, but the attacks with the shorter katana are so fast we can cut the enemy down before they attack us. Finally I decided that I tested my luck enough. I was going to return to the main position. We've done so much damage to the enemy that now in a straight engagement we should be fine. We don't need to take so many risks. I'm going to start loading up my weapon, but as I load I actually get shot by that guy up on the hill, I believe, losing most of my health, 29 damage. The shot doesn't kill me, luckily. When you fire at long range with these weapons, they're actually not quite so deadly because the shot damage falls off very quickly at range, so I was lucky in that regard. I go to take revenge, but this guy pulls out a polearm, proving very difficult to combat. He's smashing at me, slashing away. The horse takes a wound and I'm forced to retreat from that situation. Luckily at this point, my spearmen have managed to finish off or drive away the rest of the pirates, and at this point, the battle is effectively over. After a short rout of the remaining pirates, the engagement comes to an end. It's a victory, but at the cost of 2 of the lives of our skirmishers. That was not expected or appreciated at all. We did get some good loot from the enemy though, getting some of those long Chinese swords that a couple of them were using with big reach, and we got some actual armor, some plate armor, this retainer armor, which I can equip instead of my apron, finally giving Nariko some proper protection. That will massively reduce the damage we take in battle. These long swords, interesting as well, both because their length makes them great for use on horseback, so if I'm acting as a cavalry unit it might actually be more useful than my katana, despite it not being any more powerful. Plus they're worth a lot of money, these imported swords, so just taking them to go and sell at an arms market is very useful as well. I wanted to see if maybe Marie would fancy a go with one of these giant new weapons, but actually she's not strong enough to even wield them, so she's in the same situation that Nariko was before her training. I can give her a little bit of better equipment though, because she can use Nariko's smithing apron as armor, which is slightly better than just wearing clothes. It's got a bit of leather protection, I guess, so that'll have to do for now. So with that bit of drama over, I can continue with my mission to go around the various villages in the area and try to find more villagers to join my team. Obviously those villagers will be in danger until we can get them trained up, but you can see in the bottom left there I get experience every day because Nariko has gained the ability to pass on her skills to any other party members with a level lower than her ability, just called training. So slowly we will actually level up even if we just don't do anything. Now, since I was over here, I decided to pay a visit back to Hakata, because there's a little side quest that Nariko might want to go on. We can come to Hakata and try to rebuild her blacksmith. What we need to do is get the guildmaster of the city to give us permission to build on the land. Unfortunately, he basically just doesn't recognize us and says, we don't know who you are, so we can't possibly give you permission to just move in and start owning businesses in the city. So we have to earn respect in the city, lots of different ways to do that. Having lots of money is an easy way to get it, but right now it's something we'll have to think about in the long term, because it's not going to happen anytime soon. Now, while heading back west, I spotted a few clan armies on the move. There's a Shimazu clan force moving here in the Raizoji clan's territory, so it seems they are at war and a battle may be afoot. While I was hanging around to see if one would happen, I actually encountered a very small band of pirates, so another great chance to train and get some experience for those few villagers I've just recruited into my now quite large party. So only 5 pirates to kill means that basically my soldiers with the ranged weapons can just fire at them as they advance across the hills towards us, and I can join that fire as well. So we're going to be able to bring these guys down without any trouble whatsoever. A few of them did fire back, but luckily they're quite inaccurate, so no damage was done. So there we go, Nariko getting the final kill with a close range shot. That's that battle won. So more experience and loot for our party, and they actually had a prisoner with them, these pirates, a Ronin, who we can actually join into our party. He's very appreciative to have been saved, so now he is going to come with us, very nice. And among the loot, we get a new set of bullets. So you might have seen earlier I gave Mari a spare gun that I'd found. Now I can give Mari that set of bullets as well, and she will be able to fire from horseback just like me. Now, while moving south, I encountered that battle that I thought might happen. The Shimazu and the Raizoji are going at it. The Shimazu have a gigantic advantage, and what we can do is actually come and observe the battle. As long as we pledge allegiance to the force that's winning, the Shimazu, we should be quite safe here, and we should get a chance to see the clan armies in action. They think we're just some down and out Ronin. We'll be safe. If the battlefield is your idea of safe, then I think you need to taste the finer things in life. The finer things in life don't matter. Fighting, battles, that's what matters. And now we're going to see how it happens. Form up here and watch. They don't need our help anyway. Okay, but where are you going? To get a closer look. You're in charge. What? This girl's mad. And you men must be crazy too if you follow around a woman who's smiling like it's her 10th birthday at the prospect of seeing a few limbs getting chopped off. Nah, we're the sane ones, crazy ones. They're right there, following the samurai. No chance is left in life for them. At least the boss knows what's good for the world. Maybe so, but she doesn't know what's good for herself. So while our party waits on the hill behind the battle and just observes, we are going to go in with Nariko to take a closer look. There's not all that much action left though, because the Shimazu clan army has so much of an advantage here, there's really no fight. Nariko already managed to take part a little bit though, shooting an enemy down as we saw, and now trying to rush in to at least be visibly fighting, because this will allow you to get greater rewards at the end of the battle. These clan battles are a great way to get early equipment. Switching out to that Chinese sword to get some extra reach, managing to just about get the final kill of the battle, and then riding through in glory, hopefully gaining some recognition from the clan soldiers. So we lost absolutely nothing, of course. The Shimazu lost a few, the enemy losing even more, and Tanegashima does recognize our help, and we managed to get introduced to him, so it's nice to be introduced to the lords of the realm. There's actually a rescued pirate who they offered to turn over to us, and we have the option of hiring him into our party, so I am going to try and do that. Let's see if we can get a reformed pirate onto our side so we have insider knowledge of of our foe. Now, as I mentioned, you do get equipment if you take part in these clan battles. A great way to get equipment, and we actually get some superior leg armor for Nariko, so that's great. And as long as you always fight on the winning side, you generally are very safe to take part in the wider battles of the wars, and there's no repercussions on the other side as well. The side that loses doesn't mind you because you're not affiliated with the clans, you're just a mercenary unit, so you can only gain things basically from those battles as long as you don't take part on the losing side. So you can see I leveled up my charisma there since I got some extra experience from the fight, heading up to try and get some leadership level up. So I've got loads of skill points spare because I'm just waiting for my base attributes to rise because it allows you to level up skills further, so I'm going to save all our level ups for now. And right after that fight, we're in another battle as we encounter a more powerful band of pirates, so this is a more interesting test. You sure these horses aren't going to bolt? Doubly sure. You helped me train them. Yeah, well now we're here, I'm not sure it's really a good idea. I don't see the samurai doing this. How are we meant to hit anything with these things anyway? It weighs a ton. Don't moan while you're aiming and you'll shoot twice as steady. Pfft, not saying you hit anything either. You're too big for your boots, miss. You need someone to put you in your place. You're welcome to try. The pirates advance towards our prepared position. We're bombarding them with shot and arrows the whole time. You can see the enemy are in a massively loose formation advancing, not at all with any unity, 1 or 2 men at a time, which means it's really easy to move out and just kill the guys who arrive first, and I'm going to make use of that Chinese sword once again. I don't think our position's under much threat. I'm going to sit back and try and use my rifle as much as I can, because it levels up your firearms abilities, making you more and more accurate if you actually try and use it in battle. So worth trying to shoot the enemy down, even though it's very ineffective right now. You can see trying to take aim at men and just missing even at close range because it's so inaccurate. But once we pull out the sword and go riding amongst the enemy's ranks, things are going to get a lot easier, especially with the enemy distracted, trying to advance towards my line, barely paying attention to me right now as I just ride around and cut them down with this huge weapon which has more reach than my katana, so I don't have to get very near them in order to make a big swing and smash the enemy down. Now they're starting to pay more attention, but the rain of arrows from my line cutting them down as well, so very quickly this battle is going to be basically over. There were a few enemy units hiding at the back of the map who we had to chase down because they wouldn't rout for some reason, and this proved difficult. This guy pulling out his polearm to bring me down, Marie coming in for the kill steal, just beheading him with a quick slash with that sickle. I've already taken some damage, but thanks to the fact I'm now wearing armor, I'm still alive. Basically it makes most hits be glancing blows, and I can get away with taking hits even from these deadly pirate weapons. So now me and Marie are going to team up to go after the last pirate. Our party running behind, not going to catch up in time. Marie not even waiting for me, just cutting that guy down, even though she's not even using a proper weapon. She's got a farming implement but is still tearing the enemy to shreds. Luckily though, she moves backwards and now Nariko can get some glory, cutting down that guy who was distracted. Another man comes at her with another polearm, difficult to deal with. I'm going to have to move out of the way. You can see my horse has taken a load of injuries from these enemy attacks, and your horse can be killed in combat, which would not be good at all. We want to keep our horse alive. Now I'm locked in a deadly melee with this guy. The horse is hit and falls over. I'm in big trouble myself, now being below the enemy, but luckily my party arrives just at that moment to kill that enemy. So that was a bit of a close call for Nariko, being too brazen. It turns out the pirate we hired was actually wounded in that combat, but he'll be soon nursed back to health, and 3 more rescued Ronin going to join our party. And best of all, we get loads of interesting equipment dropped by those pirates. More swords worth a lot of money, more weapons, more armor, guns and ammo, everything we're going to need to tool our party up for even more pirate hunting and ultimately storming their main base, which I think we're actually pretty close to being ready for at this stage. Filled with the courage of someone with nothing to lose, Nariko took the pirates of Western Kyushu by storm. While many of the pirates had turned to violence because it was all they were able to do, for Nariko and her party, violence was a new and exciting way to change the world according to their own vision. The spoils of banditry quickly fell into their hands, making them more than a match for their disorganized foes. Nariko's plan was unfolding just as intended, but she had yet to right the wrongs she claimed to be crusading against. To the rest of the world, the legacy of her work was a trail of bodies, and a pirate threat becoming even more heavily armed and violent in response. Thanks for watching. We'll see our party get a big boost in strength as Nariko's curiosity for violence gets us a lucky break on the next episode of Nariko's Treasure.